Hi everyone, this is the E-mini S&P 500 futures. I'm using a 2000 tick chart and a 21 EMA. I'm also trading the E-mini NASDAQ on a 1000 tick chart, also with a 21 EMA. And so back to the ES, starting off, notice we have this uptrend. It's from yesterday, and we have a break, and price pushes up to make a new high. Now, this is how trends play out. And notice that as we're pushing up here, this is around 8. This is where I started, a little bit later than 8 today. And we have these two legs back. At this measured move, price pushes on up, which is not surprising because it just broke out of the overnight low. Now, technically, this swing right here is in the overnight session. Notice it's at 7:40 Central Standard Time. But this level is clearly more consistent, so I did end up keeping the overnight low level marked there. Because the overnight highs and low levels are not necessarily about the absolute high or low. It's about where they're most consistent around the highs or lows. And so anyway, we start pushing up right here. Uptrend as a break, we can expect price to attempt a new high. So this area is a great place to get a failed second entry. We push on up, get a couple legs back. This is a great area for that, a reversal pattern, but it just doesn't happen here. So we continue on up. Notice that price makes these two pushes to a new high. And so this is very typical. When an uptrend gets a break, you can expect price to attempt a new high, and that's very commonly in the form of two legs. Now, on a bigger picture, this is really just one leg. You can zoom out. It's a little bit easier to see. That's clearly one leg on a bigger picture. But you zoom in, you can still see that it's in a two-legged move. And so after price reaches the overnight high, it has a sharp bearish reaction. We get a first entry long, second entry long failure. It is starting to get a little bit sideways at the end there, but it was still clear. It's still a clear failed second entry with a bearish bar. It ticked higher than that bullish bar and rushed below the EMA. We're at a great area for a reversal. Again, the uptrend just played out with a break in a new high, and we're getting a clear bearish reaction to the overnight high. And so we push on lower here. We get this leg down all the way back down to the overnight low. Now, I just want to show here that considering that we have this reversal right here, we do want to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. On a bigger picture, this whole push up right here is one leg. Even with the break in a new high, it is kind of a significant break, but you do have to consider that when you get a bigger picture break, price could attempt to make a new high on a bigger picture, especially because it didn't make a very clear, it made a new high and it's pretty clear, but it's still basically making a double top right there. And so just keep in mind that if price holds on a couple legs back from the reversal, then you could just get a bigger picture attempt to a new high. But in this case here, we push on lower here, we reach the overnight low. Now when we push up here, if we push off the overnight low, we can look for a long, but considering that we had this sharp push down off the high of the day, right at a reversal area, you want to see two clear attempts at a new low for this downtrend. So you have downtrend, break, and then first attempt lower. You don't want to enter long right here because one, it is clearly, very bearishly pushing below the EMA, but this downtrend only has one attempt at a new low after its break. Now, when you get this push here, yeah, that is a second attempt lower, but you also have a two-legged move up. That is, let me just draw that there. It's nearly measured. It's two very clear legs. So price is just less likely to give a good reversal pattern because you already have a two-legged move up. So with this bullish bar right here forming the failed second entry, notice we have first entry short, second entry short, failure. But it's just not a clear setup. You already have two legs up, pushing back below the EMA. It's really not an ideal reversal pattern. And so anyway, nothing there for me. Notice we have this measured move in play. As soon as that measured move is met, price reverses back down. Now this is unfortunately a no-fill right here. Notice that after that measured move is met, we have first entry long, second entry long, failure. And I know this can be a little bit hard to see because there's all these little ticks higher. I don't care about each tick that goes by. So I'm just going to remove this for a sec to unclutter it. I'm going to move that. So you see this tick higher right there. You have first entry long, second entry long, failure. But clearly this is just one leg down, and then this push up right here is the break from this push down. And so you have first entry long, second entry long, failure. Not every tick that goes by, first entry, second entry, third entry, fourth entry. It's just first entry long, second entry long, failure. Just a little bit bigger picture. Now, this is a no-fill, as you can see. It didn't want to push the target too far out the lows, so no fill on this. And after it reached the low, I just want to mention, I know that it didn't fill the target right there, but when it pushes off the lows right there, at that point it's just too late because the lows are now in play, pushing off. You don't know if it's going to reverse from there. So trade canceled at that point, basically. And so anyway, when we push up from here, the failed second entry already happened, so this is basically just a not very clear second entry. You can kind of see that first entry short, second entry short, but it's very choppy. It's really just not an ideal looking entry, so I did not like that short right there. But it does end up pushing on down, and we go into this downtrend right here. So pretty clear downtrend, pushing out the lows. At first we push out the lows, it immediately fades back in. Gets very, very choppy. It's not clear. We push back out. Now, when you push out of the overnight low, you want to wait for 2 attempts to fade because the market moves in pairs of 2s. You don't want to just get a breakout, 1 attempt to fade, and then expect it to go short because you want to see first attempt, second attempt, failure because you want to enter on a failure. Just like with this uptrend right here. After the break, it has 2 attempts at a new high before reversing. You want to see 2 attempts to fade before expecting the breakout to work. And so I don't like going short here just because you get a bearish bar off the overnight low. You don't know that it's going to drop on down like that. And so anyway, we continue with this channel. We hold off those lows there. And we don't get any clear shorts on the way down here. If we had gotten a clear 2-legged move to this trend line, we could have easily gotten a short. But instead, we get this push up after the slight overshoot, which overshoots do commonly lead to breaks. So when you see an overshoot, you really want to see 2 clear legs. You don't want to take an iffy looking short like this where it's a second entry, yeah, but you're entering so low on a very big bar. And again, when you draw this leg up here, there's still a lot left in that measured move, which you don't want to see that after an overshoot because again, overshoots lead to breaks. So there would be some bullish aspect right here that you would want to see a clear second leg. And so anyway, it just doesn't happen here. We push on lower. It gets very choppy again. Notice we're going straight sideways, and now we're getting this push on up. Now, even though you can say from here we have first entry short, second entry short, really this is just all in this chop right here. So I'm viewing this as the first leg out. Starting from here, we have a first leg up, break. We could get a second leg up. So this is just not a very clear short area. It is possible we could push lower and get a good failed second entry so long as we have room down to here because I wouldn't want to push it past these because this is just very clear chop right here. But anyway, so that's it for the ES. I'm going to hop over to the NQ really quick. So here's the NQ. So similar kind of thing. We have this uptrend going on here. We have uptrend, break, and then price is attempting to make a new high on the NQ here. At first we have this smaller break. We have a little break, push up to a new high, and then price attempts to reverse, and price is held at the overnight low. Now, this is not a significant break at all. You zoom out, you can't even really see it. It's just uptrend, and then you're getting this big picture 2-legged break right here. So you could get uptrend, 2-legged break, and then a push up to a new high. So this measured move level is an important level to keep in mind. But anyway, it's one level at a time. So at first you have a little break, push up to a new high, and then price is attempting to reverse. Now, if price reverses from here and it doesn't hold on anything and it just keeps on going lower, then that would be the end of the trend. But clearly, price is trying to make a new high on a bigger picture. So even with this little break to a new high, that's all part of the same trend. And this reversal attempt is the bigger picture break. And so when you push on up here, this is price attempting to make a bigger picture new high. And so you push on up here. This is a great place for a reversal pattern. A clear failed second entry would be great here, but it just doesn't happen. You get a leg up and it just gets choppy. So you don't want to take a choppy high or low like that, especially right after a small break to a new high and price is attempting to reverse. It could easily make a second attempt lower. That's why you want to see a clear failed second entry, because if you push on up here and get 2 legs back, forming a failed second entry, that would include the 2 attempts at a new low for this downtrend right here. But it just doesn't happen. So anyway, we push on up here. We hold off this overnight high. I was kind of adjusting the levels a bit to see exactly where it fit best. I ended up leaving it there. And so anyway, we push on up. We can push into a reversal pattern from here. Again, we can easily get a second leg at a new low, but we just don't form a good reversal pattern. We end up pushing back up and getting very choppy up here, even though, we have a clear push there, like a triple test or really a quad test. This is just too choppy to take, even when it closes below the EMA. It's just straight sideways going into this range right here. It's really not ideal for a short. So anyway, we push on lower here, and now we're starting to get a second leg down. So really from here, you do have this two-legged move down. It is basically a double top, though, at the same time, because it is very close with that. And also I know I mentioned a triple top here. I don't want to confuse anyone. You have a point there, 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 and there. So this is clearly a quad top on a bigger picture. Obviously, this is so close that it's all one swing there. But if you zoom out, realistically, like on an even bigger picture, this is just a point here, this is 1 point here, and so that's a double top on a bigger picture. So just to be clear about that. So anyway, we push on lower here. Now we reach the overnight low, and let me just redraw this really quick. So at this point, we have this two-legged move down. The measured move is still in play. Now, when we have a sharp drop down like this, you don't just want to immediately enter long on the first bullish bar. One, it's incredibly bearish. Two, the measured move is still in play, adding to the bearishness. And so you want to see a reversal pattern get back above the EMA. Now, in this case here, we just have a push up, sharp push back down, push back up. It can be tempting whenever you see stuff like that, of a sharp push back above the EMA, but the measured move has not been met. I want to see a clear reversal pattern here. It doesn't trigger, but even if it had right there, I still would not want to enter it. Even if, I wouldn't want to leave an entry above that bar right there. It's just not a very clear entry. It's not clean. I want to see a reversal pattern. And so we push on up here. Doesn't go far. Push back a little below. It's really just bouncing right off the EMA. Price cannot get above that EMA. Again, here we break out. Rejection right off the EMA before push on down. Now at this point here, the measured move is met. Price pushes a little bit past it before reversing on higher here. And then I'm just going to declutter those really quick, because on a bigger picture, you can clearly tell that you're getting two bigger picture legs. And so when we start pushing up here, again, you want to see two attempts to fade before buying the breakout, or in this case, shorting the breakout. And so if we had gotten two clear legs retesting with a good bearish reaction, we could have easily gotten a short. But instead, we get a sharp leg up. Obviously, this is a one-legged retest. You don't want to enter short on that, even when you get this sharp bearish bar here. Price holds on the EMA, and now you have uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, but it's so bullish the whole time. It's bullish and choppy the whole time, holding above the EMA. It's really just not ideal. You're going into this chop right here. This is not a great area to look for a short. I mean, it's a good area to look for a short, but the way that it's set up here is not ideal for a short, so there's nothing to take here. Now, if we push lower here, if we had gotten, say, a push down to here and a couple legs back, then we could have gotten some bigger picture trade, but it just doesn't set up there. As soon as we break out of these lows, it just takes off. Now we have this up measured move in play. Notice right after we fade back in, price makes two attempts to push back out. It's pretty common to see stuff like that, but it really isn't. It's really not that clear. I didn't like going long right there, because your stop would have to go all the way down here, and then your target's way past the measured move. Also, again, uptrend, break, new high, so it's not an ideal reversal pattern. Some might view it as first entry short, second entry short failure, but considering the issue with the measured move right there and the uptrend already playing out, I would not want to take a trade of this size right here. So nothing for me there. We push on up. Right when we get to that measured move, there's some resistance, but price does push on through. We start forming this range, and then we go into this failed second entry. Unfortunately, I did not get a very good entry on this, and I did get stopped out. I made a little mistake on it, which I'll get into here. So we have a failed second entry after this measured move up, and we can expect a bigger picture leg down. And so this is a good place for a failed second entry, but one thing I overlooked that somehow it just slipped my mind is we did just push off of the overnight low, and this is a major key level here. And so when you push off the overnight low, you want to see two attempts before you enter short. And notice that price pushed up, I entered right here, and then price made that small little second attempt right to the stop. So that was just a little error, did not quite notice it. Things like that can happen. It's a good looking setup, except for the fact that it just bounced off the overnight low. So little overlook right there. But after that next attempt right there, price ended up pushing on down. But for me, with this one, I entered, left the room for a bit. By the time I got back, it's all the way down here. I look at it, and when I walk in the room, obviously I think I won, because I just can barely see it. But then, I get closer and I see where it went. So, stuff like that can happen. I'm not saying I know for sure I would have re-entered right there because obviously I wasn't in the room and it is very choppy. But it just shows after that second attempt right there, that's where it happened. That's where it took off. And so it's pretty decent looking right there, even though it's chopping around. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say I for sure would have re-entered right there. Let me get that back to right there. Because I wasn't in the room, so I can't say for sure, but it does look pretty decent after that little attempt right there because you do have a pretty nice looking failed second entry. And so if you could have gotten that smaller entry, let me just drag it up to it, only 35 ticks, and that's NQ ticks. That's much smaller. And so anyway, it just didn't happen for me. Got back and it was all the way down here. So we push on lower here. Price reaches the overnight low, we get a little reaction to it, and then price breaks back out. Now, again, you want to see 2 clear attempts to fade. Now, when we have this low here, notice we get this first push up, and then a second push up, but it was very choppy right here. This was a breakout leg. It was breaking out of this range right here, and so we ended up getting a second leg like that, and so this is a clear 2-legged retest. We have first attempt to fade back in, second attempt. It's also fading back down into this range that formed underneath the overnight low. And so I really liked this right here. Push it out a little bit, just a couple ticks, or more, because it's the NQ, it's actually more ticks, but not very much. So I don't mind pushing it out a little bit if it's a great looking trade. Big measured move in play. Because this is a 2-legged break for a major uptrend right here. So you can look to enter short on the way down. Just because you have a big picture uptrend break doesn't mean you're stuck to only looking for longs. These act as magnets, and if price is unable to make the new high after that first break, you can look to enter short to reach this measured move down here. So I hope that's clear. Now when we push lower here, we have a new low. So at this point, before entering short, you do want to see 2 more attempts to fade. We only get 1 clear attempt here, so there's really nothing to enter on here. Push down, make a new low. Again, you want to see 2 attempts to fade. We got our first push up here. We are making a second push up, but we've already faded at this point, so I just want to draw off this right here. We've made a double bottom right there, and so I'm going to make that a little easier to see. And so after this double bottom, a lot of times these measured moves aren't going to be met, so this could just be our 2-legged break. We could get a long to make a new high on a bigger picture here, and so if we push up, we could get something like this. So, we can get something like this, failed second entry, big picture. That would be great considering the size of this uptrend that we're looking to make a new high. So uptrend, 2-legged break, push up to a new high, great place to get a failed second entry. So hopefully we can get something like that soon. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope it helped out in some way, and thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.